Hi people, it's me, Anja, my pronouns all she and her, and welcome back to my channel for my favorite books of 2024. I don't know what I'm going to title this video exactly, but anyway, the first book on this list is called This Day Changes Everything. This story is a YA contemporary following two queer teenagers who spend a day together in New York City, and mind you, they didn't know each other prior to this. This book is absolutely so amazing and so well done. I think I read it at the end of February, and I thought it was excellent. I became very swept up in the characters and the story very quickly. I believe this book is marketed as like Dash and Lily and Ferris Bueller's Day Off or something like that, which means that I had very low expectations prior to reading this book, but I think it's excellent. I love these characters. I love their dynamic together. I love them individually. I love the queer representation. I love the setting, the plot, the story. Everything about it is so excellent and it's so iconic. This book made me cry, which is why it made it on this list, because if you didn't know, my 5-star ratings are not necessarily because the book is perfect or anything like that. It's mostly like how it made me feel, and this book made me cry, so I rated it 5 stars. So with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Babel. For those who don't know, this book is an adult historical fantasy that follows an Oxford student who is Asian, and basically it's about revolution and anti-colonialism, and I love this book deeply. I reread it last year, and it made me cry again. Like, when I was rereading it, I was like, I know exactly when this book is going to make me cry because of when it made me cry the first time. And even though I was expecting it, I was still very emotional just because of how attached I am to these characters, to the setting. This book got its own specific reading vlog to it when I read it for the first time back in March, because I think it's so excellent. It's totally worth all of its hype and so much more. I love the setting, I love the characters, I love the plot, I love the writing, I love it all. Rebecca is a genius. Like, this book is so good. I love it so much. I think it's excellent. I think it's brilliant. It's so clever. It's so well done. It's so well written. So anyway, with that said, this book made me cry more than once. So with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called This Is Me Trying. This story is a YA contemporary following two queer former best friends who haven't seen each other in 3 years, when 3 years ago, their third best friend committed suicide. This story is absolutely so fantastic and it's so good. I loved how the author tackled love and mental health and grief, and like how it means to rebuild oneself and one's community after such a loss. Does that make any sense? This book is incredible. I loved it so much. I love these characters. I love the love that they have for each other and how messy and real it was and raw. This book is so good. I love their characters individually as people as well as their dynamic together. This book is excellent. The writing is amazing. All of the characters, all of the queerness was written so well. Like, this book is excellent and I love it so much. I personally think that this book deserves more hype than Ophelia After All, which was one of my favorite books from 2022, which made me cry 4 times. So I know that that is a very high compliment. I don't know exactly how many times this book made me cry, but at least twice. But anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called True Love and Other Impossible Odds. This story is a YA contemporary following a young, sapphic Asian college freshman who creates a college class algorithm that matches everybody with a perfect romantic match. And it questions everything that she's ever known about love and friendship, and it's just excellent. I love this book so much. I had really high expectations for it, and I can honestly say that this book met those expectations and exceeded them. Again, it made me cry at least once, if not twice. I don't quite remember. I love these characters. I love the plot. I love the sapphic romance. It is excellent, and I love it. These characters feel like real people. I loved the conversations around whether or not you can really quantify something emotional like love like romance. This book is so good. I love the friendships, I love the romance, I love the characters, I love the college academic setting. This book is excellent and poetic and so beautiful, and it's so good. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Mole Out of Water. This story is a middle-aged contemporary that follows a young main character who's struggling to regain her magic after being forced to move. This story is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so excellent, and it's so poetic and beautiful. First of all, it's written in 3 verse, if I'm not mistaken, and the writing is so lyrical. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. I love the friendship, I love the family dynamics, I loved the queerness. I remember putting this book down multiple times to bawl my eyes out. And yes, my period started the next day, but that's irrelevant. This book is so excellent, and it's so well done. I really, really enjoyed it so much. The characters feel like real teenagers. I love it when middle-aged stories incorporate drag in some way. This story is so excellent, and it's so well done. I loved it so much from the beginning to the end. The plot is excellent. I love the characters. This book deserves so much more hype, and it's absolutely so amazing and so necessary and so important, and it's so good. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Gay the Play Away. This story is a YA contemporary following a young queer main character who grew up in a cult. However, she doesn't know that quite yet. This story is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good. And I really, really enjoyed it so much. I was hooked in by the plot and the characters immediately right off the bat, and I just felt for the main characters so much. Like, this book is excellent. I love it so much. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. The sapphic romance is so cute, and it makes so much sense. Like, their chemistry is unmatched. It's so adorable. The plot is excellent, and it's so intriguing, and it's so engaging. The ending, like, had me in tears. This book is so good, and it's so hopeful and heartwarming, while also, like, navigating such harrowing topics. Like, growing up in a cult is terrifying, especially when one is queer in a heteronormative, homophobic, like, environment. You know what I mean? Anyway, this book is so good, and it's so excellent, and it's so brilliant, and it's so underrated. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called The 7-Year Slip. This story is probably the most popular on this list, so I'm going to keep this synopsis as vague as I can, because I'm figuring that you probably already know about this book. So anyway, for those who don't know, the story is an adult romantic contemporary following a young woman who falls in love with her temporary roommate, only to discover that he's from 7 years ago. Does that make any sense? This book deals with, like, magical realism and time travel. This book is so good. I think it's totally worth all its hype and so much more. If you're anything like me, you saw this book literally everywhere, which is rare for me, because typically I don't read the popular books that are trending on Twitter and stuff that all of my friends are talking about, because historically I have different tastes than my peers, especially since I read a lot of middle grade that other people don't read. But anyway, this book is excellent, and I love it. The romance is adorable, and their chemistry is unmatched, and I love it. The time traveling elements made so much sense, and I really, really enjoyed that so much. The world building is excellent. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. The writing is so good. I'm so excited for her new 2025 book. I don't remember what it's called. Maybe it has something to do with music. But anyway, this book is excellent and it's incredible. So with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Rules for Ghosting. This story is an adult urban fantasy following a Jewish transgender bisexual main character who can see ghosts, and basically he's trying to help save his family's funeral business, which is quite the business to be in when you can see ghosts. This book is absolutely so fantastic and it's so good. I really, really enjoyed it so much. First of all, the Jewish representation was so good and so well written. I love learning about different cultures and different religions, especially concerning like how they talk about death, if that makes any sense. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. The romance is excellent. I love the sibling dynamics so much, as well as like his dynamics with both of his parents. Like, this book is excellent and it's so good. I just really enjoyed it so much. The characters feel like real people. The romance is adorable. The paranormal elements were so well done and so excellent. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Don't Let It Break Your Heart. This story is a YA contemporary that follows a young sapphic main character who falls for the same girl as her best friend. However, like, this story is so much deeper than that simple synopsis. It's about being queer in a small town and what it means to be out in a small town. And this book is so excellent. First of all, the best friendship in this story is so iconic. It's so wholesome. It makes so much sense. It truly is so magical, as is the romance in this book. It is excellent. It's so well developed. It's so well paced. The characters are so well developed and so distinct, and I love them all so deeply. This book is excellent, and it's brilliant, and it's emotional, and it's so well done. This book is so amazing, and it's so well done. I just really enjoyed it so much from the beginning to the end. The characters feel like real people. The writing is so poetic, and it's so good. I just really enjoyed it so much. Like, I was hooked, I was locked in. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called The Dragon Republic. For those who don't know, this book is an adult fantasy military book inspired by China's like bloody, I think, 20th century history. But anyway, this is also book 2 in the Poppy War trilogy, which I read back to back last year after reading Babel, after being introduced to Rebecca's genius. I love her so much, if you didn't know. I'm so excited for her next book, which I believe comes out in May of this year, but it didn't make it on my most anticipated 2025 new releases, but it was probably an honorable mention had I made a list of honorable mentions. But anyway, this book was excellent. I love this trilogy so much. I think it's so incredible and it's so well done. Her world building is so good and it's so awesome. I love these characters so much. They all feel like real people, and their motivations and actions make so much sense, even if they differ from each other, if that makes any sense. Even the villain and like the antagonist and everything. This book is so good. The plot is excellent. I love it. I love this entire trilogy, but this sequel really stood out to me because I was so emotionally attached. Like, I cried. Anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Compound Fracture. This story is a YA contemporary thriller that follows a young autistic transgender main character who survives an attempted murder. Yes, they do try to kill him, only to be drawn into a generational battle between the rural poor and those who try to exploit them. This story is absolutely so fantastic and it's so good. First of all, the neurodivergent representation was excellent and it's so good. The analogy of like getting an autism diagnosis is like putting glasses on for the first time is so real and it's so relatable, and it makes so much sense to me as an autistic person myself. Like, this book is excellent. Aside from that, the queer representation is fantastic. Like I said, the main character is transgender, and I believe he's gay and also, like, aromantic as well. I don't know why I said I think he's gay. He's definitely gay. But anyway, this book is so good. The characters are so well developed and so distinct. The queer representation is top-notch and excellent. The plot is so intriguing and so thrilling. This book is so good. I love the found family. I love the friendships. Everything about it is fantastic. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called Keedie. This story is a YA contemporary following a young autistic main character who is navigating friendships, bullying, and the joys and difficulties of being an autistic teenager. This book is excellent and it's fantastic and I loved it. First of all, the autism representation is spot on and excellent, and it was deeply relatable. If you didn't know, I'm autistic, and therefore I've read so many books with autism, and each one of them feels so deeply relatable. I just resonate so much, especially with Keedie. This book is excellent. She is so relatable. Every single time she expressed her emotions, whether that was frustrations or happiness, it was so relatable. This book is excellent, and also technically it serves as a prequel to A Kind of Spark, because I believe it's set 5 years prior to A Kind of Spark, and it follows the older sister of one of the main characters of A Kind of Spark. Does A Kind of Spark have 2 main characters, or 1? I think 1. Anyway, I really need to watch the TV show. Anyway, I digress. This book is excellent and it's so fantastic. I love the characters, I love the plot, I love everything about it. This book is so good. So anyway, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. So in conclusion, those were my favorite books of 2024. Basically all the books that I rated 5 stars last year in chronological order as opposed to ranking them like some other booktubers do. But anyway, in conclusion, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the soup emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!